Do you think Hamas is a terror organization?
I don't think Hamas is a terror organization, and it's a very foolish conflation that you make.
But very little is known about this organization's ideology. What is Hamas? The signing of the Oslo Accords on the 26th of October 1994 presented an historic opportunity for bringing an end to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. However, on the morning of February 25, 1996, Hamas shattered this nascent dream and instead ushered in an era of unrelenting terror. With over 3,000 attacks in 2005 alone, Hamas has left in its wake thousands of victims who have been killed or maimed in a flow of endless bloodshed. Established in late 1987, Hamas is the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. This Islamist organization is subdivided into military, welfare, and religious arms. Hamas's charter, ratified in 1988, sets forth the organization's ideology that clearly states, Israel will rise and will remain erect until Islam eliminates it. Peace initiatives, the so-called peaceful solutions, are all contrary to the beliefs of the Islamic resistance movement. There is no solution to the Palestinian problem except by jihad. The various operations carried out by Hamas resemble those of similar religious Islamic terrorist organizations, all of which demonstrate a blanket allegiance to the laws stipulated in their respective charters.
قبل أن تموت إسرائيل لابد من الذل والخزي لإسرائيل. إحنا قبل ما يموتوا إن شاء الله كل يوم سيرون خزيا وذلا.
فاليهود هم اليهود، هؤلاء هم الذين يجب أن يذبحوا ويجب أن يقتلوا كما قال الله تبارك وتعالى قاتلوهم.
Dismissing any attempts to reach a peaceful solution, Hamas is an Islamic resistance movement, blindly adhering to the cause of armed struggle and refusing to submit to international pressure to recognize and negotiate with the State of Israel.
I'm very close with Hamas. I know Ahmad al-Zahar all the way down through Khaled Mashal and the leaders in Gaza and the West Bank. And I can tell you that they are terrorists.
Well, we'll just have to disagree on our definition of terrorism.
What is terrorism?
I just caution you against what is a very foolish conflation of two entirely separate phenomena.
Let's move on from there, because clearly we're going to disagree. And by the way, Hamas is entirely allied with the global jihad. Ahmad al-Zahar and the others regularly state that they're looking to impose an Islamic regime.
Or a political broadcast on behalf of the Zionist movement. I think that we should conclude this interview now. I told you at the beginning, before we started, I don't speak to the Israeli media.
I'm not the Israeli media.
Well, you might as well be. And I've no intention of talking to either of you any further. So good afternoon, gentlemen.
I first befriended Yasser Arafat in the 1970s.
منا أنه طبع علينا نحن في رباط إلى يوم الدين.
أعطينا الشهادة فنحن جميعا مشاريع شهادة.
استعداد أن يضحي حتى آخر طفل وآخر طفلة في سبيل.
إخواني، إذا كان في واحد فيكم تعبان أو في واحدة فيكم تعبانة تروح تقعد في بيتها وتبعث لأولادها وتبعث لأولادها.
ومثل ما بقول، مثل ما أنا قلت إنه جنرالاتنا الجدد، أطفالنا، أشبالنا، زهراتنا في الانتفاضة سميتهم الجنرالات الجدد.
And as the New York Times reported, This is summer camp on Arafat's TV.
المجموعة الانتحارية.
أصبحت فدائيا بزي مقاتلي وشكرا. برافو 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 برافو.
هم اليهود في أي موقع كان وفي أي موطن، قاتلوهم أينما كنتم، حيثما ثقفتموهم فاقتلوهم أينما تكون.
الشعب الفلسطيني الذي لم يتوقف لحظة واحدة عن العطاء والصفاء من دمه
The day of shame last Wednesday, when the fighters had to surrender in Jenin and in Nablus. Why? Not because they didn't have the courage to continue, because they didn't have the bullets to fire, while the Arab regimes have doubled, tripled the security on their borders to make sure that not a single weapon, not a single bullet can reach the Intifada.
Victory to the Intifada! Long live the resistance!
Good evening to you, George.
Yes,
a couple of statements you made that I can't quite fathom out. Yesterday you said that the Israelis killed Yasser Arafat. I don't ever see that documented anywhere, that he was killed by the Israelis. And the second point I make about that, you're talking about the Palestinians, how poor and how they're scraping for a living and everything. Is it not true that Yasser Arafat, when he died, had millions and millions of pounds spread all over the world, and his wife was pictured in Paris buying designer clothes? Or maybe that I've got it all wrong, or was that not true?
Well, thanks, Victor. As a matter of fact, it isn't true. Yasser Arafat didn't leave
everybody
any
in the world's
money
got it all
at all.
wrong.
Victor, you asked the question, so let me answer it.
Yes, but
Yasser Arafat didn't leave any money at all. Yasser Arafat owned nothing except the uniform on his back. They wouldn't deal with Arafat. Then they besieged him, then they killed him. That's what I said last night. I say it again tonight.
فسكتوا. فأحدهم قال لي بصراحة الفرنساويين أعطونا التقرير الطبي سبب وفاة أبو عمار هو مرض الإيدز.
الأطباء الفرنسيين رغم أنه تكلمت معهم أطلب أني أشوف أي واحد منهم أو أسمع من أي واحد فيهم لم يجاوبوني، ولكن لما توفى الرئيس ياسر عرفات بعثوا لي إيميل أو رسالة إلكترونية على أنه الرئيس عرفات دخل عندهم المستشفى وبعد فحص الدم وجدوا أنه عنده ميكروب الإيدز.
هلا قاعدين بيترحموا عليه لياسر عرفات وأنه فاتوا على بيته ولا ما بعرف إيش وكذا ومن هالمواضيع هاي. أنا بقول لكل واحد شريف في داخل حركة فتح عليه أن يفرح بالتخلص من هذا الوباء الذي كان مسلط عليهم وعلى الشعب الفلسطيني.
طيب اسمح لي.
والآن فرصة لحركة فتح أن تجدد.
Mr. Galloway trades a better set of manners when he's in Los Angeles from the one that he exhibits when he's in, say, Syria on state television, when he praises the martyrs and the jihadists and the 150 or so operations they conduct every day in Iraq. He goes there to stir it up, and then he comes here to tell us, watch out, they're being nasty. That's, I think, disgraceful.
Wow, that's what Arafat used to do.
And then it seems to me that
you've made this Frankenstein monster of Islamist fundamentalism. Now you want to punish the Afghans for a guy that you sent there.
The Afghans had the right to fight against the Soviet invasion of their country, which Mr. Galloway supported. That's the first thing. The second thing is the CIA did not invent Mr. Bin Laden.
Can we talk about Bin Laden instead of me?
On sui generis by a Saudi
He has a
group.
rather unhealthy personal obsession with me. Nobody here even knows me. Why don't we talk about Bin Laden and talk about Al-Qaeda, talk about
We're not going to talk about him as if he's our fault, Mr. Galloway, however slimily you put it.
Are you in the United States,
We're not going to blame him for, we're not going to blame ourselves for.
I love it when the British fight.
There's nothing British
There's
about...
only one better fight, and that's a chick fight. I think we all know that.
There's nothing British about Mr. Galloway. He's a fifth column run from the Middle East in British politics. Anyone who says that we're to blame for it is carrying water for the people who committed the crime.
I'm just getting...